Welcome to this conference, Project Management and Sustainability. Greetings to our guests, Eva Palarczyk and Miguel Carvalho Melo, distinguished members of GPM, Green Project Management. Thanking them, of course, for having accepted our invitation and to speak here today with us. New digital technologies within the scope of the Fourth Industrial Revolution led project management to evolve rapidly, and in a globalized and more complex world where there are greater concerns about sustainability, that of course must be transversal to all organizations, activities, including project management. Sustainable projects will be essential for granting a better world, and new approaches are emerging to support and improve their management. Also, greater investment in sustainability projects will be essential. I will be introducing our invited speakers, Eva Palarczyk, online from Poland, Miguel Carvalho Melo from Portugal, is by my side. Miguel Carvalho Melo will start with an intervention of about 10 minutes to introducing this team, and after that, Eva Palarczyk will deepen this team with a more or less 40-minute speech. So we hope that you enjoy the interventions, and at the end you will have time to ask all the questions you think are relevant about this interesting team. Please, Miguel, you may start your presentation. Thank you.
My name is Miguel Carvalho Melo, and I'm going just to take 10 minutes to present the Executive MBA in Project Management here from Autónoma. This is me. I was already presented. Here in Autónoma, we have this Executive MBA in Project Management. It started in 2004 as a post-graduation and has evolved since then. And this presentation is mostly for Portuguese people, but because there are foreign people online, so if I'm speaking in Portuguese, they will not understand. That's why I'm saying all this in English. But if you have any doubts, then I'll be here to talk with you at the end. So this course is, in a certain way, is unique because it's different from most of the trainings that you have seen in universities or wherever. Because differently from traditional university courses, this is a very extremely practical course. So you start working on a project since the beginning of the course, and you will work on that project until the end, and all the contents, the theoretical contents of the different modules will arrive at the moment that you need that specific content for the work that you are doing. So as it is written here, we have 23 modules. Some of them have just one class, some others are much bigger, as you'll see. And the content of all those 23 modules, it's all interconnected through the work that students are doing along the course. We have a team of 10 teachers that are accompanying the work of the students. And by the end of the course, students are prepared to take IPMA APOGEP Level D certification exam and GPMB exam. So for those who are not so familiar to what I'm talking right now, project management, there are many different kinds of international certifications. You have IPMA certifications, you have PMI certifications, you have GPM certifications, you have Prince2, you have Scrum, you have many different kinds of certifications. In this course, it's included 2 of them. The one from International Project Management Association, which is one of the biggest, or probably the biggest organization in project management in the world, because IPMA it's not really an association, although it's called association. IPMA, it's a confederation of associations. The members of IPMA are the associations of 71 countries. In Portugal is APOGEP, Associação Portuguesa de Gestão de Projetos, which is member of IPMA. So when you get certified by APOGEP/IPMA, your certificate is valid, is recognized in 71 countries around the world. And GPM certification, and Eva will talk about it later, but GPM certification may be a certification by its own, or in this case, it comes as an add-on. There is a thing called the RPL, Recognition of Prior Learning, that if you get an IPMA certification, then you have a shorter exam to get certified by GPM. So you get a two-in-one, or in this case, a three-in-one, because you get the diploma from the university and an international certification from IPMA and an international certification from GPM. Or this is the basic structure of the course. As I told you, it's very practical. So at the beginning, students are presented by a scenario of an enterprise group with a few companies in different areas, and it's presented the strategy of the group, and then students in teams have to create a project, align it with the strategy, and that will be the project that we are going to work through all the course. And we have a first simulation, which is a bit like a Shark Tank. So you need to sell the idea of your project. And the 10 teachers are there watching the presentation. And it's filmed, it's recorded. Because on next class, it's the class with the teacher from individual marketing and communication, and you are going to visualize the recordings of the presentation, and students work, and she works a lot with all the students on their presentation skills, because as a project manager, we have to be able to defend our project, to present our project, to explain our project. So communication skills are essential. Well, I would say in every profession, but as project manager, of course, it's very important. And then we go, and the project starts, and the students start planning the project. And this is maybe the biggest phase. It's between the first and the second simulation. It's when all the project plan is built. And then the contents of the different areas will come, and the team of 10 teachers will help students on the work they are doing. Because one thing that is a characteristic of this course is that this team of 10 teachers are always available to help students along the course. Anytime former student is there, and she remembered that sometimes we had meetings in nights, helping them, yeah, and on weekends, etc., helping them preparing their work. And the second simulation is to present the project plan. And again, it's filmed, and there is a class of communication and personal marketing before the presentation to help students prepare for the presentation. And there is another one after the presentation to view the recordings and to understand how you can do better. And then project plan is approved. The project plan is approved. That means that if the project was real, it would start to be executed. And when a project is going on, is being executed, we all know that stuff happens. There are always something that will happen. And what will happen is that we, teachers, will invent some situations that are going to affect projects. And what the teams will have to do is to see how they would deal with those situations. Because on the third simulation, it's like the simulation with the steering committee, where you have to present what you have been doing on the project, the status of the project, and asking for decisions that has to be taken by the steering committee. And finally, fourth simulation, it will be for the closing of the project. And after the fourth simulation, it will be the preparation for the exams in this case. What happens is that when we get to the fourth simulation, everyone is already talking project management language. So the concepts are already assimilated. Here we have the 23 modules of the course, with the name of the professor of each one and the number of hours of each one, and come on. And this is our fantastic team. So 10 professors. I'm not going to present all of them. You can Google them on or LinkedIn them or something like that, and you see who all those people are. But in all cases, those 10 people who are here are always people who have this connection of business world, and they are practitioners. Some of them also teach in universities, but everyone is a practitioner in their own area. And they bring the expertise of applying in real world what they are teaching in classes. And one of the things that usually students most value and they say on the feedback they give at the end of the course is that everyone is bringing examples of their real life, of their real projects. So this is very, very valuable for everyone. So this is the main information. So the new edition will start on the 24th of January. You still have time to think about getting on board, and it will end on 29th of July. That will be the last exam, which will be GPM exam. Before that there will be APOGEP exam. So, and of course you'll have some free days in the middle, and you have the link and you have all the rest of the information. Classes are on Tuesdays and Thursdays from 19 until 23, most of them online on Zoom. There are a few classes on site, which are, of course, the presentations. Those are on site, and some, not all, but some of classes of Microsoft Project, because there are some things on Microsoft Project that either you have two screens at home and you can at the same time see what you're doing and what the teacher is showing. Otherwise, on a single screen, it's very difficult to follow up what the teacher is saying and doing it at the same time. So it's better if it's face-to-face, but there are some face-to-face, some online. And if you go to Autonoma Academy website, there are videos from some of the teachers explaining the course, and some of the former students talking about the course. What I wanted to, I think I'm finished here, yeah. So what I wanted to add here, yeah, that's it, is that from the experience, this will be the edition number 14. Yours was the 13, yes. So next one will be the 14. And from what happened through the years on those previous editions is that we know now as a fact that people who follow this course, the course will change their lives. I wouldn't say for everyone, but for most people. It's normal that there are people that starting the course in a situation of unemployment, and before the end of the course they are choosing, because they have different offers and they are choosing for what they are going to do, what they are going to accept. There are people who are doing one job. I remember from from 2 years before, 2 years ago, one that she was really not liking what she was doing, and now she's working as a project manager, not project manager, program manager. She's managing a lot of projects at the same time, and she's very happy about it. And there are also people who, after a while, they quit their jobs and they start their own companies, because this is not a course to an entrepreneurship course, but all the work that you do to create a project and present a project and sell the project and evaluate the project and assess the viability of a project, this gives you gives you in some cases the courage to believe that you're able to start your own business. And quite a few of our former students did it. So if you check the information from those who share their experience in the course, I think it would be available. And if you have any doubts and if you want to ask anything about this, I'll be fully available for you. But most of you didn't come here to listen to me, so I'm going to shut myself up.
So I will pass the word to Eva. You may start your presentation. Thank you. Miguel.
Thank you for inviting me here to talk about two important and hot topics, which are sustainability and project management, right now combined into a sustainable project management. How do they both combine as a good couple? So Miguel and I have an honor and pleasure to represent Green Project Management, which is a social enterprise. And as you can see, as GPM, we provide the full ecosystem of different products supporting sustainability into project, program, and portfolio management. You can see that we provide standards, tools, and methods that you can apply into your projects, but also training, consulting that provide knowledge to individuals to boost their competence in sustainable project management. To give another look at GPM ecosystem, we do have for organizations that can be easily implemented standard for projects implementing sustainable methods, so sustainable project management, but also tools that can be used to assess project portfolios and the whole organization in terms of how sustainable you are. You can also check and certify your project. What we also do is we support project management offices so that they can really drive a sustainable change and be the entity that is responsible for value creation, but also including the sustainability into that area. For individuals, there is a set of certification starting with GPMB, so that is the basic certificate checking the knowledge in project management and sustainability. Trainings, and what we also do is we share knowledge as GPM Global Ambassadors, so that we spread the good practices. We do networking on how to make the sustainable project better. Just to give you some numbers, as GPM Global, we started in 2009 and contributed to developing United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. Our standard that can be used for projects, programs, and portfolios, that is P5 standard, is one and the most used standard for including sustainability into project management practice. We actively cooperate also with the universities in different countries, supporting on different educational levels the sustainable practices, starting from master's degree, finishing on postgraduate studies, and of course MBA studies as well. You can see also the number of professionals certified and the number of countries. So we can say that we are the largest sustainable project management organization in the world. Just to add, as GPM EMEA, we started in 2021, working actively in Europe, Middle East, and Africa, developing a set of partnerships in different countries, and also supporting translating the standard and the materials into different languages. As you can see here, for example, P5 standard also available in Portuguese. That can be easily used for the projects. Beside the P5 standard, also the Sustainable Project Management Handbook, which will guide you step by step on how to manage the sustainable projects. And what we also do, just to add here, these are research and studies. I will share some insights from the latest research that we have done this year. Why are we here? Why are we talking about sustainability? What is really becoming crucial for us in terms of climate change, biodiversity loss, and the consequences to the humankind overall, is to fight for temperature increase, especially when we think that when dinosaurs were living on Earth, the temperature was only 4.5 Celsius degrees higher than it is right now. So that is something that we are struggling. We can say that 1.5 is nothing, but we cannot manage still when you check the the trends and how it is provided, that we cannot manage to keep the track until 2030. And if we cannot keep the track, it means that all of us, no matter what part of the world we are living in, can be impacted by extreme weather events, extreme climate changes that affect our everyday life, our business, and our projects. So we are meeting here also today, on one hand, to meet the moment, and on the other hand, to say, are we as project managers, as business professionals, doing enough? Are we doing something that supports the nature? So what can we do as project managers, as business professionals, is for sure to start thinking in terms of how can our business, can our projects be using too many resources, producing too much waste, so generally being degenerative. What can we do in order to move into regeneration, or at least keep it as it is right now, so be sustainable? As you can see, the traditional degenerative business is based on so-called golden project triangle. So that is something as it was, as we project managers were focused on to deliver projects on time, cost, and the scope that that was agreed, not taking into account how much input we use for the project processes and how much output, also the negative output, is after the project. Right now, the sustainable approach, or even going farther, so regenerative approach, says we want to create value, but be also aware and responsible for what we use, what we process by our projects. The ideas on how to protect our planet, how to fight against climate changes, but also how to fight for gender equality, for reducing inequalities, was or is covered in Sustainable Development Goals signed by United Nations. You can see probably those colorful squares everywhere right now. They are very often included even in marketing materials by many organizations. But how to really include them into our business, into our projects? And why projects? Projectized economy, as some say, has already arrived. Right now, projects are contributing to 30% of global GDP. The number is still increasing. Also, according to World Bank, the project manager is the second most desired occupation in the world. So, as project managers, we do, and we even will have more impact on economy and also on how sustainable or not sustainable our projects are. You can see that the number of projects in economy and also of project managers as professional is and will be increasing for at least 10-20 more years as minimum. So are we doing enough as project managers? Can we do something more? How we perceive ourselves in terms of sustainability. Here are some information from the research that GPM has done in this year. Just to give you an information, over 33,000 project managers, program portfolio managers, CEOs, and other professionals took part in the research. And what are the facts? As you can see already, 38% of project managers said that their projects had a direct impact by extreme weather events. When you have a look at program and portfolio managers and executives, the numbers are much higher. So almost we can say every second project, according to them, were under impact of extreme weather events. Should sustainability be integral to projects and project management? You can see the numbers, almost 100% said that definitely yes. And are we doing enough? Again, almost everyone answered that no, we are unfortunately not doing enough to combat the climate change. So, is it that? Maybe that's an opportunity for us to do more. How we as project managers, but also business professionals, integrate sustainability into our business life. It is very different in different organizations. It depends a lot on the awareness on sustainability. So it's very different depending on the knowledge of organizations and people in the organizations, probably also including the knowledge on how to create value by integrating sustainability. As you can see here, some organizations and just implement sustainable practices because of crisis, because of problems with brand, maybe some risks that occurred, and we must take an action. Very often, and that is something I can say from energy sector, for example, in Poland, which I'm quite familiar with, is that we had to comply to regulations to emit less negative substances into air, water, and so on. But be aware that also sustainability can and should provide you economical effects in terms of cost effectiveness when you optimize your resources, in terms of being well seen and being noticed, being seen in the market, and also, last but not least, the most important, when you include sustainability into your core business, when you create your business model around sustainability. That is the level where you can, as an organization, grow using the sustainable practices. Of course, how to measure sustainability? There are 3 levels, so-called triple bottom line: environmental, economical, and social, that make sustainability real in your business. While talking about value creation through sustainability, right now translating it into projects, this is how we see the cradle-to-cradle value system in GPM for creating value from sustainability. In typical projects, you calculate CAPEX, OPEX on one hand as project costs and calculate the traditional benefits. When you look wider in terms of environmental, social, and economical influence, you can search for much larger amount and value of sustainability benefits, and also include the benefits from recycling and reuse. So when you look at this system, you can see that sustainability is an important factor in terms of value creation for the company when you are aware how to use it. When you include it into your core business. And because we are taking into consideration benefits also from recycling and reuse, this is how we look for the project life cycle. So for us, end of the project and outputs of the project can become input to new projects and to close the loop. And when we close the loop, we can again think about more long-term benefits and value creation for the organization. Is it easy for project managers? Well, nothing is easy right now. We say that we are living in the world of VUCA 3.0, which means it's unpredictable. We are seeing more and more black swans that are very significant to different businesses and business branches. So it means that life for project managers is also not easy as it was before. Before, the project managers were focusing to deliver projects on time, in budget, and the scope that was agreed with the customer. Of course, and in terms of the quality that was also agreed. Easy or not, definitely right now, life became even more complicated. Because when we want to contribute to value creation for the organizations, we should, as project managers, should think again, on one hand, wider on for example, benefits on risk management, but also in a more strategic approach, so in a long-term perspective. And what is fundamental from our point of view is to think on how our projects, in terms of products that we produce and project management processes, contribute to environment, society, and economy. And if we want to make project management sustainable, we should not make any negative net impact from the project in terms of product and processes. Sounds complicated, but fortunately we have some tools that can be applied and used for any project in any sector, in any branch. You can see here the P5 standard, which is a great tool, in my opinion, that helps us as project, portfolio, and program managers to translate the sustainable development goals into project language. So we don't need to go step by step reading this sustainable development goals and thinking what the project manager or the project team should do or shouldn't do. You can use the standard, and it is free to be downloaded, and see what, as a good practice, the project team should do, for example, in terms of employment and staffing, or any other element that is translated into how our project, again, project management processes and products, impact people, planet, and prosperity. So here is the map, and here is the example. So taking the standard, for example, taking the employment and staffing practice, the employment and staffing element, you can see what are the good practices, what benefits this brings to the project and organization, and how it can be then mapped with the sustainable development goal. What more? How to use the standard? Of course, first of all, the standard covers and do the mapping of all the elements in terms of, once again, people, planet, prosperity, product, and processes. Then it gives you the guidance on how to make the impact analysis of your project through those elements. And then by other products that are provided by GPM, that is Sustainability Management Plan, how to integrate and take action, how to translate the standard and those elements into actions, giving roles, giving responsibilities, giving KPIs, so that we make sure that sustainability is not forgotten and it is included into the project from the very beginning, from the pre-project phase until the project closure. And also what people love about it, about this tool, is that it is so easy to combine with the ESG reporting for the organization. So these are ready-to-use tools for the reporting that some organizations already do, and more will be obliged to do starting from the next year as well. These are, of course, just some examples of how to use tools, or how to use standards and methods to make sure that projects become sustainable. Projects drive change for the organizations. Projects are responsible for growth and value creation of the organizations. So why not to make them sustainable, to drive the sustainable change? And everything starts from the small steps. So what I can say is, don't wait, don't hesitate, just be the change. Get knowledge, get competence, certify, but start with the sustainable projects just to make our planet better. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Eva. It was a very good presentation. We will start with the questions and answers by the presents, hoping that someone asks some questions.
Hello, do you listen to me well?
Yes, Gonçalo, it's okay.
Okay, good. I just wanted to ask you a question, Eva, and maybe for the project managers that are present here, they can also answer this. From your experience, how do project managers deal with executives and project sponsors' demands, and at the same time comply with green initiatives? Because green initiatives sometimes require additional resources and investment and time. How can project managers present their green plan to be accepted, since it always requires further time. It requires more time, more money. It can compensate at the end, but how in your experience, how do you think project managers deal with this?
Well, that is some kind of myth that I think most of us have to manage. Yeah, very often it is perceived that sustainable projects cost extra money, and well, maybe you will see someday some extra value, some extra benefits from that.
Mm-hmm.
That is still very common, and from my experience, what is important is that we should not talk only about green initiatives, like maybe that stupid example, like planting trees in the park or something like that. But we should think about how to implement sustainability into our everyday operations and also into our projects. Mm-hmm. And very often, for example, when you go through the P5 standard, and also when we talk to project managers, that's what realize, that very often the extra costs, and there are very small modifications in how we execute and how we plan the projects to get a better effect. So very often you do not need to make any extra changes, or it doesn't need to have any extra costs or capex. These are small practices and processes in how we plan our project that we eliminate negative effects or make the positive effects even better. And that is something that it doesn't need to cost extra money, but very easily it can bring you extra benefits. That is one thing. And another thing is that while thinking about sustainability, we should think in terms of including it into our core business, because that is the way how we can create value. That is something for what our customers are expecting more and more often from us, on one hand. And on another hand, that is when we include it into our core business, it means that is the best model to focus on sustainability as a core business, not some small green initiatives, because sustainability means also making economical effect as well. So why not to make it better?
Sure. Yeah, and maybe include this kind of ideas of initiatives as KPIs, as critical success factors of the project since the beginning, and maybe that would make it more easy to have a green mindset when you start the project since the beginning. Yeah,
the earlier you include sustainability into the project, the easier it is.
Yeah.
Then okay. The change costs, if you include it later, just is higher. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Thank you, Eva.
Okay, more questions? It's your opportunity to make more questions to Eva and Miguel to answer.
Let me add something that I think it's useful and it's important. Nowadays, sustainability is being a little bit like a trend. Everyone is talking about sustainability. Unfortunately, sometimes not knowing what they are talking about, and that's another problem. But problems that companies which are seriously dealing with sustainability and taking sustainability into account, and not just doing what is now called greenwash, which is pretending that we are very green because that's beautiful, and then it's a lie. So that's greenwash. So companies who are really dealing with sustainability, most of the times they are doing it in what are their operations. And they are forgetting that everything that happens in any organization, either it is a project or it started by a project. Because projects are agents of change. A new product is created by a project. Addressing a new market, it's a project. Adopting a new technology, it's a project. Everything started by projects. So if you're only taking sustainability into account in your operations, forgetting that before operations there were projects that were anything but sustainable, then it's a lie. You had to start from the beginning. In the beginning, it's all projects.
More questions? No questions. So, Miguel and Ivan, I don't know if you want to add some information, but there's no more questions in the room and on the online. Do you want to say something about it, Seva?
Well, I would like to wish everybody sustainable projects which bring value, which bring benefits, and which are really done by the heart. Not because it's trendy, it's fashionable to be sustainable, because as Miguel said, it's become such a buzzword, sustainability and also ESG. But if we really want to benefit from that, we just should include it into our values and act by those values.
If there's no more questions, I will end this conference. Thank you very much for your presence. Thank you, Eva. Thank you, Miguel, for your participation, and hope to see you in the next few conferences we'll make. It will be a new conference in May, and we will all talk about and we'll deepen this theme about sustainability in projects and, of course, the importance of new technologies, and hoping that the new technology also help on implementing sustainable projects, and it's a desire. I believe it will be a reality. Thank you very much for all. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Bye.